Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Devin Bezant. I'm a public speaking coach. This is a public speaking channel. I'm posting every Wednesday, 2 p.m. I just got started. I missed last week, but that's because I'm building an online community, an online course. I'm going 100% online. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3-point speech formula. You can use this speech formula for any kind of speech. You can use it for weddings, funerals, presentations. Students use it for school speeches. I use it for blogs. Like, I literally use this speech structure for everything. It never started out that way. I'm a Toastmaster, and when I first joined Toastmasters International over 10 years ago, I was like, oh man, all the Toastmasters were doing it. And I was like, no, I'll never do that. And I would just ramble on and on these stories. My audiences would just have their eyes just be like this, glazed over. I'm watching them. I'm like, geez, and somebody said to me, well, just try the 3-point speech formula. And I did. I never looked back. It's been amazing. I've used it literally over 2,000. I've used it for at least 1,000 Toastmaster speeches and at least another 1,000. I use it every day. I train every single day. I'm always doing speeches with students. I'm always writing new speeches. So it's fun. I like it. I use this formula. I don't even change it up. Okay. The formula works like this. You give an opening remark. Now we're going to get into these in a later video. The 5 ways to open up a speech: joke, quote, short story, fact, question. I would never even use other trainers. There's more ways to open up a speech. Yeah. But these ways work. And let's be honest, how many speeches does the average person do in a lifetime? I guarantee it's less than 100. You could use these same, this is actually too many for people who, if you only have to do a couple of speeches in your lifetime, this would be too many to learn. I would only use a couple, okay? When I did a speech at my auntie's funeral, I opened up with a joke. She told me a joke when I was a kid. I was so nervous. There was like 200 people there. I'm like, who tells a joke at a funeral? But she told me this joke when I was a kid. I was so nervous. I wrote it on a piece of paper, and I was like reading that joke, and boom, everybody erupted. Okay. And then I got right into the 3 points, 3 things my auntie taught me. I did this exact same thing at a wedding. I opened up with a quote. Okay. Something nice about marriage. And then I said, I know the groom for so long. Here's 3 experiences we shared together that might be of interest to the bride and the rest of the audience. Okay. And I got right into it. Presentation. Hey guys, let's talk about these 3 facts. Today I need to share these 3 points with you. You can actually use this for a 3-minute speech, a 10-minute speech, and an hour speech. How would you use it for an hour speech? You have your 3, let's say, after this COVID thing goes, I'm going to be going back, I'm going to be doing events. Want to get people in. I'm going to share it like this. So I'll do an hour-long speech. The first thing I'm going to talk about are mistakes that speakers make and how you can avoid them. The second thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to share 5 public speaking exercises that anybody can do to become a better speaker. And you can practice these on your own, and you can do them every day. That's how you become a good speaker. You practice every day. And then number 3, I'm going to share another 5 ways to make money as a speaker so you can have a full-time income. So what I did was I broke these up. I have one main point, then I have a bunch of sub-points, another main point, bunch of sub-points, because people aren't going to remember any of your points. Hopefully they just take 1 or 2. That's why I want to just give them 1 or 2 nuggets and feel okay repeating yourself. That's totally fine. But stick to the rule of 3, because there's 2 things the audience wants to know. 1, what's in it for them? 2, when you going to be done speaking? Now, we repeat the point, and then we tell a supporting story. Repeat the point, tell a supporting story. Repeat the point, tell a supporting story. Summary, call to action, or a quote. Couple of tips. Only give the point here. Only give the point. No backstory. A lot of speakers come in, they try to give a big, long backstory, and not necessary. And repeat the point, okay? And say the number 1, point 1, point 2. And the reason why we have this build curiosity here is it's because there's two schools of thought. There's Toastmasters International. They're all out there doing these 3-point speeches, by the way, and there are millions of them every year. They have this theory where it's like, tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. Okay. I have another mentor, speaking coach. He hates this theory. He's like, why would you tell an audience what you're going to tell them? You know, oddly enough, he'll go and do a keynote and give the audience like a booklet for them to follow his speech, which what's the difference? They can just look forward. They'll tune out either way. So here's what I like to do. I like to build a little curiosity in these 3 points, make people want to listen. Now, if I were doing an icebreaker, if I were introducing myself to a group, an example of the tell them, the Toastmasters way, would say, well, number 1, I was in a huge motorcycle accident. 2, I'm a public speaking coach. And 3, I'm a dad. If I wanted to build a little curiosity in my audience, I would say something like, number 1, I died, came back to life. Number 2, I've trained over 30 champions. Number 3, I want to share with you the reason I wake up every single morning. I just came up with those right now. I would use those in a speech. Another tip, the gold is in the rewrite. So if you're writing a speech for a wedding or a funeral, just write it out blatantly the first time, and then you deliver it. And preferably you would have someone like me give you a feedback on it. One mistake a lot of speakers make is they'll deliver it for their friends or family, and their friend, oh, that's amazing. And then you go to the wedding, and then I listen to it. I'm like, oh my God. Hey, no offense. No, take a little offense. I don't really care. I mean, when you listen to as many speeches, I still love it. I still love listening to bad speeches, but when you listen to as many as I have, I mean, you can get a little critical at these events. And another thing, I'm going to get into a little speech here. I'm going to give you a little speech. I wrote it out very quickly. I'm just going to blabber it off, and I'll show you. And in that speech, we talk a little bit about the ending, because so many times people get to the end and then they just say, well, that's it. I'm all done. Terrible, terrible. Okay, let's get into it. I'll show you. This is exactly, I would mind map out all my speeches. I used to. Now I've just done them so many times. I just fill in the points, and I retell the stories different every time. That's fine. That's good. You want to make it sound like you're having a conversation with the audience. And here's another little tip. If you open up your speech with a question, let the audience respond to the question. Put your hand up. Say, hey, is any, a lot of times, if it's an open-ended question, like you'll hear so many times, speakers will come in, hey, everybody here having a good time. Woo, everybody, yeah, good time. Yeah. And everybody's like cheering. That's awesome. But if you're going to open up a question that sort of splits the audience, like who here has ever really felt fear? That would be another no-brainer. Let's hear another. Hey, who here likes dogs? Okay. Sometimes a speaker will come in, they'll be like, so who here likes dogs? Now, by the way, I'm a cat person. If you're going to ask a question like that divides the audience, put your hand up. Say, who here likes dogs? Yeah. Oh, what kind of dog? Get them involved. Get them involved. You got to have that kind of confidence. We're going to learn all about having that kind of confidence. So if you don't have that kind of confidence, just start out like this. This is how I would start. I've done so many speeches like that. I just say, here's 3 things I'm going to show you today. Here's 3 things so-and-so taught me. Here are 3 mistakes new speakers make. Now I'm going to do this just like a speech for you, okay? So let's say I'm in front of the audience. Today I'm going to share with you 3 mistakes that almost all new speakers make. Hello and welcome. I'm Devin Bezons. Those 3 mistakes are, number 1, negative starts. Number 2, timing. Number 3, no summary. Number 1, so negative starts. You wouldn't believe how many times I watch a speaker come in and then they say something like this. Oh, I'm so nervous today. There's so many people here. Or even worse, a speaker will get in front of an audience, like even at work or something, they'll be like, well, I didn't have a chance to prepare today. What are you telling the audience when you say that? You're telling them that they're not worth your time. Why would they want to listen to you if you come out and you say something negative. I hear people all the time, adults, I don't care who it is, tons of students say this. Oh man, this speech is going to be terrible. Like, this speech sucks. You know, like before they even say a word, that's the first thing that comes out of their mouth. Oh, I don't care how nervous you are. My knees used to shake when I first started speaking. I literally would be in front of my voice would be like, and I never would ever say something like that. Afterward, people would be like, you have so much confidence, you know, you're so funny. They don't know. Let them decide. Maybe they do know you're nervous. Who cares? Let them know it. They'll feel like they can connect. Like, wow, I saw how nervous you were and you still did it and you put it all in. That's so amazing. You really inspired me. This has happened to me over and over and over. And I see it happen to new students. In fact, when a really nervous speaker gets on in front of a group of people and they power through it, they just get right into the start, right in, bam, bam, bam. No matter what they're feeling, no matter how shaky their voice is, other speakers in the audience are like, oh my goodness, if this person can do it, I can do it too. Number 2, timing. You ever been to a wedding and they do all the speeches and the father-in-law gets up there and he's talking for like 4 hours, it seems like, and just telling like I know maybe he has great stories. Even sometimes the audience will be laughing, they'll be liking it. But they just are like, oh my God, just get off the stage, move on. We got 9 other speakers we have to listen to. This is a huge mistake new speakers make. They'll get into a story and they'll think they need to tell you every detail. Like, you know, I was driving down the highway and the sun was beaming through the clouds and glowing off the hood. And I looked over, I saw a little rock jump. You know, it's like, okay, I have a little rule of thumb. Stick to the highlights. Stick to the highlights. Okay, write that down. Just tell the audience they have imaginations. They can imagine what it's like. Number 3. So many times, I see this everywhere. I see it all over the place. You know, they get to the end. Well, that's it, folks. That's all I got for you. What a terrible ending. Always recap. Always, always, always recap. You don't have to say in summary, in conclusion, but just say, you know, getting to my point. I'm about to wrap this up and here's something I want to give them a challenge, give them a quote. You have to do it. You make the audience feel like they've learned something, that they're fulfilled. And, you know, again, I'm using myself as examples because I used to have these killer good openings and I had the great speeches and I'd get to the end and I would give a little summary and, you know, that's it, you know, and that's why I learned. Now I challenge audiences. I give a quote. The quote is the easiest way. You get to the end, you sum it up. In summary, I want to leave you with this quote. Okay. But it's incredibly important. It makes you sound like a pro. You run through the speech structure just like this. We have a ton of tips that I want to share with you, but for today, I'm just showing you the 3 mistakes new speakers make, how you can avoid them. And those mistakes are that speakers start off with their negative. Never, ever, ever do that. Always start off with your opening remarks. The second mistake new speakers make is they don't understand timing. So they just ramble on and on and on, and they're not using body language a lot of times. So they're in a monotone voice and there's, you know, it's just not going to keep the audience sticking around. And the third mistake, they get to the end, they're like, well, that's it. So no summary. So in summary, I want you to, if you're doing a speech, you're looking at this structure, remember, use your opening remarks. Think about the timing, stick to those story highlights. Number 3, sum it up. Okay. Now I always have a challenge, and my challenge for you is over the next week, whenever you're telling a story, or even thinking about a story, come to a point. Say the moral of the story is, the lesson I learned, one thing that you can take away from that story is, okay? And start getting in the habit of doing that. Every story needs a point. Every story needs a moral. Every story needs a lesson. And if you get in the habit of doing that, Audience will really appreciate you. You can use this speech structure, and I guarantee you it's going to work every single time. Now, here are a few key takeaways. Here are a few key takeaways. Number one, and I'm gonna cover this more. I have lessons for all of this. Okay, so yeah, if you enjoy the content that I'm giving you, please hit that subscribe button, hit a like button. If you don't like it, don't hit the like button. Leave a comment. I started to do that because I want to build this YouTube channel as well. And I'm moving my business online. So I'm in the mix of it. I'm changing my website around, trying to get into a more funnel website, but stick to those story highlights. Use quotes. Quotes are what we call stealing juice from higher powers. Instead of telling a big, long story, find a quote that could sum up that story, and it will be much more meaningful to audiences. Always tell stories, okay? But keep them, stick to those highlights. You can tell your personal story, somebody else's story. Deliver a message. Have a message when you speak. If you're speaking at a wedding or a funeral, there's got to be a message there. What's one thing, this is how I like to think about it. What's one thing you want the audience to take home with them? Now, I gave you a little speech today. My one thing I want you to take home with you is getting to that point. What is that point? Okay. Never, ever, ever, ever apologize. You're a speaker. You're the one in front of the audience. You're the one who has to project confidence. If you don't know how to project confidence, go back and watch my videos because I show you. Body language is the very first way that we learn to project our confidence. Have fun. You got to have fun. Now, all speakers, if you're having fun, the audience is having fun. If you're not having fun, the audience is on your team. You're a biofeedback unit of them. They're a biofeedback unit of you. So you can change an audience, and they can also change you. If they're all sitting there, you get all scared in front of them, they're going to bring you down. You're going to start speaking a little quieter, and pretty soon you're going to be talking real fast. And you're not going to know what you're doing. Boom. Not someone who follows my channel. They will be pros. They're going to be kicking butt every single day. You rock. You have yourself a great and wonderful day. Remember, stick to the points, get to the points. I'll see you in my next video.